Things are changing. Winter on Vancouver Island is wild. I'll admit I was a little bit ignorant coming out here about how things would be, especially over the winters because it doesn't get cold. But the rain season and just the lack of sun had me going a bit stir crazy staying inside. Really needed to shake things up, so we moved my studio. As you can see, we're in a different sort of setting right now. One of the goals of this channel has always been to make home recording a lot more accessible. I definitely understand that one of the hurdles to that is thinking that you don't have the right equipment or you're missing something or whatever. So a video I've been wanting to do for a long time was put together a relevant home studio for as close to free as possible. So I did. Over the holidays, I went through Facebook Market listings and garage sales, music store, bargain bins, all that stuff, assuming no peripherals. So like top down, priced out a laptop, cables, interface, microphones, all that stuff. So yeah, I put a lot of work into that video that I'm not making. And all of that is down below in the description. I put together a buying guide, not just like marketing hype, but specs and benchmarks you should look for when you're shopping for like used equipment. And that's all down below. If you're so inclined, you can download that for free. So I had this like $150 garage sale sort of studio, and when it came time to make a video about, you know, how it came together, found that I actually preferred working on this, you know, budget system than my desktop that I use for work, which raises a lot of questions. Maybe it was just the mindset shift. Like there was this less expensive setup that I knew wasn't going to do any crazy heavy lifting processing wise, but would do enough. And I just got to writing, and I went from having a complete song like every week to having a complete song every day. So I was in the process of moving my studio anyway, and I took the new, you know, garage sale system as kind of inspiration, and I deleted everything on my desktop, fresh install of Windows, the whole things, and only installed the plugins I could remember that I used on my last production, and really downsized my outboard gear and my hardware to just what was essential. It was kind of wild. I was reminded of something that I knew when I was like 14, but must have forgotten along the way. It's not your stuff that writes the songs. Really reminded me of how I used to work on music when I was a kid. I think the first time I ever tried to record myself, I hung a 57 in the middle of a room and plugged it into my parents' 4-track and just like let her rip, right? Because I didn't know any better, but that wasn't gonna slow me down at all. Nothing was gonna stop me, right? It wasn't correct or anything, but I was able to express what I wanted to express. I think it's important to remember that past version of yourself that was like hanging mics in the middle of the room or recording songs on your phone or whatever your experience like that was, and be honest with that person. Just forget all this other stuff and start expressing your art no matter what. So I guess that's the takeaway from all this. There's always going to be new gear, new plugins, some sort of grass on the other side of the fence, but as long as you have what you need, everything else is extra. It might be nice to have, but it might be slowing you down. So let me know what you guys think in the comments, and yeah, what was your first recording experience? Keep sending me stuff. A few people have reached out and shown me song ideas that they've come up with using some of my techniques, and that's been super inspiring. I really enjoy hearing from you guys. I will try and upload a little more frequently, and yeah, we'll see you in the next one. It was about limiting my options, because even if I'm not thinking about them at the moment, having those options further on are kind of the anti-productivity, if you know what I mean. Instead of writing more songs or finishing your parts, you're fiddling with whatever, right? And I touched on that in the songwriting template sort of thing, where you get your guitar tone or your bass tone or whatever, and then you leave it alone. Because if you're watching this, most likely you're like me, where you will fiddle and, you know, optimize and tinker for the rest of all time rather than actually like doing the thing you want to do.